Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for the KNEEJERK stream, as always, on a Sunday evening. So, yeah, we're going to talk about Game Week 9 and how it's all gone. And we're also going to look ahead to Game Week 10, as we always do in the second part of the video. But how you doing, Jordan? How's your weekend been? Have you enjoyed Premier League football returning to action again?
Yes, it has returned with a massive, sorry, I can't get the words out. It's returned with a massive, obviously thrilling game week. It's been very high scoring and especially a lot of points, a lot to break down, I think, between both our teams through this KNEEJERK.
Yeah, we're going to break it down, talk about how both our teams have done. And also, as I said, look ahead because an interesting game week. Let's start off with my team first. So, as you guys know, I wildcarded in game week 8. And then I decided to roll the transfer because my team looked fine going into game week 9. So in goal, I did have Areola. Now, I didn't watch this game. I literally was out, so I missed it. But I saw the score afterwards. And obviously, Aston Villa must have played very good. So let us know in the chat how Aston Villa did play. But 4-1 looks like a very convincing win. Unfortunately, Areola only comes away with a 1 point. So I guess we'll take that. Moving on to the back three now, Dan Burn, lucky for me, does pick up a clean sheet in was it the 2-0 win? No, 3-0, wasn't it?
No.
4-0 win. 4-0.
It was 4-0, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle have been very good this season and they're putting a lot of goals past some teams. And yeah, very happy to have Dan Burn, in the team, who does come away with a clean sheet. And that's exactly why I have him in my team, to cover the clean sheets. And unfortunately, we'll move on to Trippier later, but it's not exactly matches Trippier, but you have to have a Newcastle defender if you don't have Trippier, just to slight the damage a bit, I think.
We did talk about that, didn't we? Having a defender for Newcastle may still not be enough, even with Trippier still getting obviously more points, but equaling points as well. It does still put a burner in the works, obviously, to have a defender for Newcastle if it's not Trippier.
Yeah. But yeah, Dan Burn gets me 6 points. And then we've got Matty Cash, however, who does come away with a blank. Now, I didn't watch the game, so I don't really know how he played. But Villa scored 4, and I would have liked to see Cash involved in maybe an attack in return, maybe an assist, but it wasn't to be. So no clean sheet either. So yeah, 2 points. Pedro Porro does play tomorrow night against Fulham at home. So I am very excited to see Pedro Porro in action tomorrow. I will try watch that. And I'm hoping he can get me some points. So we'll have to see how he does. Moving on to the main hitter on my team really this week. That is Mo Salah. Now, this game, I watched it very closely. And I didn't think Liverpool were that great in that game. I thought that was Salah's worst game of this season so far. Like, I didn't think he played great overall. But because how good Salah is, because he's world class, you give him a couple of chances, especially that last one, he will score. And that's why you've got to keep him on the pitch, even if he's not having a great game. So, because I thought when I was watching Salah play, his touch wasn't there. He wasn't really beating his man. I thought Mikalenko on that left-hand side for Everton done a good job against Salah. So, yeah, for me, it was a quiet game until we saw Liverpool get a penalty. Salah slots it in, brilliant penalty. And then 97th minute, Darwin runs through and then puts a nice pass into Salah, and Salah just curls it in for a nice finish. And he comes away with 3 bonus points as well. So I can't complain. And the only annoying thing is, as you guys know from the deadline stream, I was kind of torn. Salah, Haaland captaincy. Obviously, with hindsight, should have went Salah. Would have got 32 points. But it is what it is. Sometimes that happens. And maybe I'll have to back my instinct a bit more next time. But yeah, Salah comes away with 16 points and very happy with that. And that's now 2 weeks now where he's returned big for me.
Everton did really well to hold off Liverpool in that game. But it was a shame also for Ashley Young to get that red card and obviously leaving 10 men Everton against Liverpool. That's when it really went downhill for them after that.
Yeah, the card obviously came quite early, and then Everton had to kind of sit back and soak up the pressure. And I was looking at points where Liverpool may not break them through, but then obviously it came later on. Moving on to Neto then. as you guys know, the cheap midfielder that I've lauded as well. He comes away with another assist against Bournemouth in the 2-1 win. So again, Neto gets a return. Unfortunately, though, for me, he does pick up a yellow card. So he did get 1 point taken away from that. So 4-pointer, I mean, I'll take that. It's another assist. I think that's 7 assists for Neto now
Yeah.
for the season, which again at his price is pretty good. I think. Would have liked him to score a goal, but 2-1 assist. I think I'll take that.
Yeah, it does come as a surprise though. Neto has the most assists.
Yeah,
From a Wolves asset. It's very interesting how that's really worked out, because normally you see like Kevin De Bruyne normally be like the assist, but because he's injured, does leave other players like obviously Neto to flourish, and obviously he has flourished so far this season.
Yeah, 7 assists for his price range. It's not too bad going really. Moving along then to Diaby, and again, Diaby has just played 84 minutes, I believe, and comes away with a blank. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it as you guys know. But looking at the stats for that game, Diaby only had 0.04 xg, so it didn't look like he had any big chance of scoring a goal really. He had 0.54 expected assists in that match, so maybe could have picked up an assist.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a blank. Look, Diaby, it's the fixtures that he has is nice, as we saw, 4-1 win. Aston Villa are playing really well. Aston Villa are a brilliant team, and Aston Villa have Luton at home next, so that could be anything. And there's no way I'm going to get rid of Diaby before he plays Luton. So I'm happy to hold Diaby longer term, give him another 3-4 weeks, and see how he does. But yeah, unfortunately, he does blank this game week.
Yeah, I did watch that game throughout, and Diaby played really well. There was a chance where he possibly could have had an assist from Ollie Watkins' shot, but he sort of fluffed the shot, and obviously it wasn't to be. But Diaby overall played really well in that game. It's just a shame he didn't get anything in terms of return.
Yeah, I'm going to be patient with Diaby. Luton at home, as I said, next is a fixture that I don't want to sell him before. And then after Luton, he's got Nottingham Forest and Fulham. So the next 3 look very nice for Villa. And Villa should be looking at picking up maximum points as well with their way they're playing now, up to 5th in the league, I believe. And to complete the midfield, I've got Maddison and Son, the Fulham. They play Fulham on Monday or tomorrow, and we'll have to wait and see how they do. I do have the triple up left for Spurs, so my game week isn't completely over. Up top to complete the team, I have Ollie Watkins now. Again, Ollie Watkins, he's quite popular now, isn't he, in a lot of our teams.
Yeah.
He comes away with a goal and an assist in that game, so very happy to see that in the 4-1 win. He also picked up 2 bonus points, I believe, so 11-pointer from him. Can't complain, really. And yeah, just nice to see Watkins carry on returning. I think he's got a return in every single game, bar the Liverpool one, when they lost to Liverpool 3-0. Other than that, Watkins has returned every game. That's now 5 goals and 8 assists for Watkins this season, which is crazy. And if you had him from Game Week 1, fair play. So is Watkins the top assister right now in the league? I believe he is, because Neto has 7. Watkins is on 8 assists. Someone verify for us in the chat.
Did get a lot of assists at the start of the season, Watkins.
I mean, unless I'm looking at the wrong stat here. Bear with me for a sec.
No, he does have 8 assists.
8 assists, but on the app,
yeah,
it's like it says he's got 6. Sorry, it says he has 5 assists. 5 assists. I don't know, but yeah, we'll take the. He's on 4. Says Harry Davies.
Cool.
It's the FPL app says he's got 8 assists for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Unless that's an error. I think he's got 6 assists, but the FPL app has got it wrong. So yeah, I believe he's on 6. So my bad, guys. Anyway, Watkins again, brilliant game. Carry on with the form that he showed this season, and he's been an excellent pick on the wildcard, I think now. And again, going forward, he's got Luton, he's got Forest, he's got Fulham coming up. You can pretty much hold him, to at least game week 15 when he's got Man City and Arsenal after that. So the next 5-6 fixtures, Watkins, very nice and happy to hold. And finally, to complete the team is my captain, and that is Erling Haaland. Now, Haaland did score in that game, luckily for us captainers. He only got the 1 goal. He did also pick up the 2 bonus points, which was quite nice in a 2-on win. And yeah, he comes with 8 points, captain, so 16. So he did match Salah, but in terms of points, because I captained Haaland, obviously. But yeah, Haaland scored a very nice goal, left foot, bottom corner. There was no chance for the goalie, and yeah, it is what it is. I mean, Haaland next week has got Man United, so there might be a little captaincy debate then, but we will see.
Yes.
And on the bench, not much to say. Strakoschka, 0 points. Archer, 2 points. Gabriel with the 1-pointer, and then Taylor with the 1-pointer. So all out, 58 points. Sorry, not all out, I should say. I've got 3 players left to play tomorrow, which is the Spurs guys. But I'm on currently 58 points, and it is a green arrow of about 200k, I believe. So my overall rank currently sits at 3.3 million and 58 points. Yeah, so that's how it's gone, really.
And you're guaranteed a green arrow pretty much, as long as Spurs assets do well tomorrow. That's just depends on whether your green arrow is big or small.
Yeah, hopefully it should be a green arrow, especially with 3 left to play in from Spurs. And I'm hoping Porro can get a goal or something to really make that green arrow pretty big. But again, we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. But yeah, that's my Gameweek 9 team out the way for now. Jordan, let's pull up your team. Talk us through how your Gameweek 9 has gone as well. And yeah, just your thoughts on it as well.
Okay, so yes, this is how obviously my team has done in Gameweek 9. So we'll start off with Areola in goal. As we've spoken about, obviously there was a massive loss of 4-1 to Aston Villa. So Areola didn't have a really good time in that game. I mean, he did make 3 good saves, which gave him the 1 point, but he also had 2 points deducted from him for conceding 4 goals from Aston Villa. So he ended up just having 1 point. I think it was expected because it was a really end-to-end game, and it looked like both teams were going to score. So it was definitely expecting for Areola not to keep a clean sheet during that game. But at least he managed to get a point, obviously, for the saves he made. Moving on to the back 3. So obviously Doggy, he plays tomorrow against Fulham at home. So we'll move on to Luca Dean, who gets his obviously 2 points. So obviously Aston Villa, West Ham, they both scored. So Luca Dean obviously only gets 2 points, no clean sheet for him in that game. I really liked the way he played though. He was heavily involved on the left-hand side with a lot of crosses into the box. I think he was really unfortunate for not to get the correct one on a player, obviously from Aston Villa in that defence. But I liked his attacking threat during that game, and he could have had potentially an assist if he was able to find an attacker in the box. Moving on to the next defender, and that is Trippier, who gets his double haul in that massive 4-0 win over Crystal Palace. So he managed to get an assist. He got clean sheet points. He did pick up a yellow card, but yeah, he still got 2 bonus points in that game. So yeah, for those who don't have Trippier, I imagine it's pretty much like a headache, because it was for me when I didn't own him. And I'm so glad to have Trippier in my team, even though he's pretty much template now, it seems like, because he's almost half of FPL owners have Trippier in the team. So rank doesn't really get affected by what he gets. And I imagine his ownership will rise even further now, especially after that double haul that he did get. He could have had 2 assists in that game, but I think Callum Wilson hit the post during that game. So unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But I'm still happy with obviously the 10 points he did receive, obviously, from that game. Moving on to the midfield 4. So Maddison and Son, they play Fulham at home, like you doggy, tomorrow. So we'll find out what happens then. So we'll move on to Bowen, who did score the only goal for West Ham in that 4-1 loss over Aston Villa. So yeah, I was very happy to see Jared Bowen score and get a return after bringing him in into my wildcard team. I was a bit nervous about this because the initial shot did deflect off of Luca Dean. So I was quite scared that Luca Dean would have got the own goal instead of Bowen getting the actual goal. But I was very happy to see Bowen being announced as the official goal scorer for that West Ham goal. So yeah, happy days. 7 points, obviously, for Bowen, and yeah, nice return for him. And this is quite the...
Yeah, I was just going to say, you kept the faith with Mbeumo, man. When everyone was saying, get rid of him, You stuck to your
Yeah,
guns, and obviously it must feel nice being rewarded and keeping the faith in Burmo.
yeah, it feels really nice, especially when he's the highest scoring midfielder so far in my team. For getting the 14-pointer against Burnley in that home fixture, where Brentford got their second win, which I did mention they could potentially get their second win of the season, and they did it comfortably, 3-0, done and dusted. With Mbeumo scoring the goal, he also got an assist, a clean sheet point, and he got the bonus 3 points after all that. So he was worth the wait, I think, after all those blanks he had, and finally
Yeah.
returning with a nice double haul of 14 points. So I am quite happy with that, especially when a lot of people did sell him as he is 20% owned now. So yeah, I was quite happy with obviously how that went. And now moving on to the front three. Now this is interesting because if you guys didn't watch the deadline stream, I made literally a last minute transfer in the very, well, not even a minute, last few seconds before the transfer deadline ended. I originally had Darwin in my front three. I reluctantly transferred out Darwin for Julian Alvarez. And this is probably the best, wildest, most crazy transfer I've made so far this season, which paid off very much because Darwin only got an assist in that Liverpool game. But on the other hand, Alvarez managed to get a goal and get a bonus 3 points, obviously in that 2-1 win over Brighton. So I was over the moon to see Alvarez score early as well in that game and also get the bonus 3 points over Haaland as well. So that leaves me with 9 points, which did pay off for me, that transfer in the last few seconds. So yeah, I was quite happy, obviously, with that return. Moving on to the next player, and that is Ollie Watkins with his obviously 11-pointer. His nice double haul in that game. He played really well. He could have had 2 goals in that game if he was a bit more clinical on one of his shots, but he did manage to get an assist and also score a goal, which obviously with the bonus 2 points as well gives him that double haul of 11 points again. So Ollie Watkins is literally on fire with only 1 blank, as we said in that Liverpool game, which is the second loss only in the season for Aston Villa, and they do move up to 5th place in the table. So they're looking like pretty maybe contention for the top 4, as it does look like Emery has really turned them around for Aston Villa. And moving on to the last player in the front three, and that is Haaland, who was the captain pick. And I was very glad that he ended his his goal drought, having 2 blanks. Obviously, before this, he did score a goal, and he got the bonus 2 points as well in that 2-1 win over Brighton. So I was happy that the captain pick paid off, obviously, for Haaland scoring, especially when Salah did score 2. So I was pretty scary to not see Haaland score, but he did. And I was very happy with his, obviously, 16 points with the captaincy over him. And just to correct myself, obviously, Bowen, his bonus points haven't updated, but I wasn't looking at the slide, but he's got 8 points because I did say 6. So just a correction on that. And just on the bench, we've got Leno, who plays tomorrow, and Andreas, who plays tomorrow, obviously against Tottenham. Brantford gets 1 point. Obviously, in that Liverpool game, they did lose 2-0. And Taylor gets 1 point for obviously losing 3-0 to Brentford. And yeah, that's pretty much so far how Gameweek 9 has gone for me. 71 points, so a really high scoring game week so far, and 150k green arrow. So it's roughly about 70 to 60k green arrow for me. So yeah, and 3 assets left to play: Udogi, Maddison, and Son. So yeah, I'm very, very excited and thrilling to see obviously the Monday Night Football tomorrow, to see obviously what my final rank will be after Gameweek 9 has finished.
Okay, nice one. So 71 points. It's a fairly good score, especially getting a green arrow at your rank, and still 3 left to play, as you said, similar to me with the 3 Spurs assets. And yeah, all is well. Both of us on a green arrow. Just want to say, guys, if you are watching, if you are enjoying the content, please help support the channel by dropping a like on the video if you are enjoying the content. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when we go live. So like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, guys. Thank you for your support. But yeah, now we'll quickly answer some of your questions, and then we'll talk about game week 10 as well, because we've got to discuss what we're doing moving into next week with our transfers, as I do have 2 as well. Damien on a chat says 77 points so far with triple Spurs left to play, 2 big game weeks, 4.1 million to 979k. Well done, Damien. That's very, very that's great progress, really, to that big of a jump within 2 game weeks. And great score.
Yeah, in the top 1 million. Well done, Damien.
Harry, also, I'm on 80 points with Son and Udogie to play. Only disappointment, in the team this game week is Turner and Højlund. I'm trusting the process with Højlund as well, says Harry. Tricky Trees started out so well but faded. 63 with triple Spurs left.
I think a lot of us have triple Spurs left in our teams.
Yeah, triple Spurs is popular, but I'm hoping, because Porro is so low owned, that he is my differential tomorrow night. Trippier and Neto on 6, and Watkins and Maddison are on 5 assists. I believe Roman is referring to. I think he's on 5 actual assists. Maybe the other 3 are from winning penalties, etc. I'm not sure as well. Yeah, you guys have to check the fantasy website, because when I'm on the fantasy website right now, it actually says he's got 8 assists.
Yeah, because in our transfer tip video, Neto was down as 7 assists, and he just got 1 this game week. So I think that is correct.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit strange. Charnel says 76 points with Maddison and Son left to play. Well done. Another big score. Yeah, let us know how you guys did in the chat, guys. A lot of big scores, so it's very nice to see all of you doing well as well. And also, make sure you do join our mini league, guys. The link is in the description for the mini league code if you haven't joined already. Roman got 60 points with Watkins bonus pending and triple Spurs, Porro, Madders, and Son to play. Sadly, even though Diaz got me a return, Salah got his second goal. And fair play to Jordan for keeping the faith with Mbeumo.
Thank you, Roman. Yeah, it's just the fixture that Mbeumo had. It was hard not to go against Mbeumo, especially for home or for Brentford, who only had 1 win so far that season until then. And I felt like that was the fixture where Brentford could obviously turn the tide and get their second win of the season, and a very convincing one. Yeah,
as you guys know, I sold Mbeumo on my wild card, so I had no option but to go without him. So yeah, definitely was he paid off for you keeping him for this the other week against Burnley. Looney 22. Is it worth getting in Palmer for Mbeumo to enable getting Trippier for Botman? Alternative is get Douglas Luiz instead of Palmer and take a hit to downgrade Udogie or Maddison to fund it. I think Palmer isn't a bad shout, especially if you're on a game week 10 wildcard and you need the money to do other things like Trippier, like Salah potentially. If you need the money, I definitely think Palmer is a good shout. We'll come on to Palmer maybe in the second part of the video, as we're going to build a game week 10 wildcard, I think, on this stream as well, Jordan. But what have you made of Palmer? Because that's 2 games now. He's taken, I believe, 2 penalties. He looked very good against Arsenal. I know we'll speak about that game, but probably let's touch on it. But I thought he was very, very good against Arsenal, and Chelsea will come away with that game where they really should have won that game, in my opinion, the way they played. So, yeah, I like Palmer as a pick. Even though fixtures are tough.
By far, Cole Palmer was the best player on that pitch, I think. He literally was outstanding throughout that whole game. It was unbelievable how Chelsea actually played against Arsenal.
Yeah,
that's probably the best I've seen Chelsea play the whole season. It was just so surreal that they managed to draw that game and throw it away, that 3 points, because that's a massive 3 points for Chelsea, but also a massive 1 point for Arsenal to claw back at 2-2.
Yeah, it was a great game for those that didn't watch Chelsea Arsenal. Chelsea will come away with that game kind of kicking themselves, I think, but Arsenal will be happy with the point, I think, at the end. Elika says, I'm very happy that I stuck with my gut. Captain Salah, 69 points with 2 players left. Yeah, well done, Elika, man. I wish I had the same gut instinct as you. I mean, I was thinking about it. Salah, Salah's been great this season, man. He's returned in every game pretty much. And maybe Salah next week. I'm just looking who Liverpool have next weekend. Liverpool have Nottingham Forest at Anfield, and where Haaland plays Man United. So it's going to be interesting to see what the narrative is surrounding Haaland, Salah. I also want to ask you something around Salah as well in a bit, but yeah, what you're going to say something?
Yeah, we have to remember what happened last season when we went against when we went against Harden when he had Man United. It very punished us a lot.
I mean, that nearly ruined my season.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's a scary thought when obviously that fixture looms around the corner. We don't know what you're going to get, and Man United at the moment, a lot of guys. I think you guys are in the chat talking about Man United, and not convinced at all.
Yeah, we're going to move on to Man United in a sec. Let's quickly discuss Salah while we're on Salah chat. Obviously, you've had a really good game week, regardless. 71 points. You still got 3 left to play. But Salah is a subject of you don't have Salah.
No.
Are you concerned about Salah's form as a non-owner? What's your thoughts on Salah, the way he's playing, the returns he's got so far this season? Just to double check, Salah, that is now 2 games, in a row. 16 points against Everton, 15 points against Brighton, and he's got, I think it's 7 goals, 4 assists, and he's on fire as ever before. What do you make of it as a non-owner?
Yeah, I think there was a question in deadline stream about who we fear most that we don't own, and I actually did say Salah, and it did scare me when he obviously scored those 2 goals. Because at first it was a very disastrous, obviously, game week when he did score, because it was 600k red. So in terms of Salah, not having Salah, it is scary, especially when he's getting massive hauls like that, and it's still returning every game week. Not having him is a worry, because I have to rely on most of my team, like this week, Bowen and Bremo. If they didn't get returns, I would be in a lot of trouble, I think, in terms of my team, because a lot of people have Salah around the rank that I'm around, obviously around 150k. A lot of people did bring Salah, and after his double haul, a lot more are going to bring Salah in, and somehow even taking hits to bring Salah in, I think, because he does look like he's obviously worth value for money at the moment, the way he's playing.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, obviously, if your plans are to bring Salah in, whether that's for a hit, etc. I'll be interested to see in the second part of the video. Well, moving on from Liverpool, let's chat about Man United quickly. We've got a comment here from Zigo, new subscriber, I believe. Thank you for subscribing. What would you guys do with Fernandes, Rashford, Højlund, bench or sell? I don't think we'll spend too long on this one, Jordan.
Sell.
Yeah, I think you got to sell him, man. Surely. I mean, look, for someone, I've given Rashford and Bruno a lot of leeway, I think. I mean, you've pretty much been against having them as from the start. I said give them a chance, give them a couple games, but they've not been good.
No, they've not been good. It is inexcusable how Ten Hag is letting them play like that, if I'm honest. How Man United play in games so far this season have been very fortunate, very lucky. Even the goals have been very lucky. McTominay's goal was pretty much a deflection. It looked pretty scrappy. I think Dallow's goal was pretty the only convincing one that I've seen.
It was a nice goal.
So it was a nice goal, which arguably the goalkeeper could have saved. But no, I'm not convinced as well in that win that Man United had. They even conceded, and it looked like they were going to draw in that game against Sheffield United. And other teams haven't struggled against Sheffield United. Man United did.
All right, I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate. So Man United's next fixture is Man City. Obviously, it's a tough game, the derby. But after that, it's Fulham, Luton, and Everton. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I'm going with the form of Man United despite the fixtures, because so far the fixtures haven't given themselves justice for obviously assets like Fernandes. Even Rashford was taken off in that game pretty much late on in the second half. No return from him. Obviously, Bruno got a 7-pointer from that game, but again, it wasn't a convincing play from Man United assets. I think Højlund was probably unlucky to not finish and get a goal in that game, but apart from that, it is literally Harry Maguire was the best player in that game, and that just goes to show that
you're in trouble.
Yeah,
when Harry Maguire is your best player, you're in trouble.
Yeah, because really you shouldn't be having Harry Maguire as the best player in that team. Not saying he's a bad player, but there's others.
Just touching on that, would you sell him? Yeah, I would think it's probably a time to sell. Look, if you're faithful in Man United. You could keep one, maybe Fernandes, but I would get rid of Rashford. Probably, I would sell Rashford personally. I think there's too many good midfielders to keep Rashford at that price. Højlund, you could take a punt, as I said. Game week 11, 12, and 13 looked decent on paper for Man United, but I'm looking at Man United's games. I've watched pretty much every Man United game this season, and just to remember off the top of my head, I'm going to bring the fixtures up because I don't remember all their games, but Man United have played 9 times this season. First game of the season, Wolves, very lucky to win that. They should have easily drew or lost that. No, actually, should have lost. The way they even scored was kind of fortunate. They lost to Tottenham game week 2. Game week 3, they come back 3-0 or 2-0 down. They come back to win 3-2 against Forest in another crazy game, which they could have easily drew. They lost to Arsenal. They lost to Brighton. They were very fortunate against Burnley. They were completely outplayed, I believe, against Burnley, but Man United come away with a 1-0 win. They lost to Palace 1-0. They beat Brentford with the last-minute McTominay goal pretty much to win 2-1. And then this week against Sheffield, again, it was unconvincing. So there's not been a single game where Man United have played well, and that's my opinion on it. I don't think their assets are worthy for me to keep in my team. But yeah, that's the Man United chat, I think, for now. We'll probably come on to it later if we have any other questions on them. But I'm just trying to see if we missed anything. No, we're going to move on to now Game Week 10 because Game Week 9 stuff's out the way for now. Game Week 10 is approaching us next. I'm going to quickly share my screen with you guys to show you what my team looks like for Game Week 10. Now, this is my bus team. No transfers made. Just to clarify as well, I do have 2 free transfers, guys. I rolled in Game Week 9. What is that? Sorry. Did you guys see that on my screen? Them balloons just popped up. Oh, what was that?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but sorry, guys. Where was I? My team for Game Week 10. Oh, let me just zoom in. That was strange, man.
Yeah, it's like
watch it back on the replay. Anyway, I have 2 free transfers, and this is what my team looks like currently. I just want to get your thoughts on my team as well, Jordan, in a sec. So let me quickly go with what I've got. In goal, I've got Areola, which again, has got Everton at home, decent fixture. Back 4 of Dan Burn, Cash, Porro, and Gabriel. Midfield 4 of Maddison, Diaby, Son, and Salah. Then up top, I have Watkins and Haaland. Now, as you guys can see, Neto is currently benched, who's got Newcastle at home. Now, Jordan, would you play Neto against Newcastle at home? And if so, who are you dropping from my back 4?
If I'm honest, I wouldn't put on Neto because every player in the back 4 has a decent fixture. And
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because Neto has Newcastle at home. That's a pretty tough one for Wolves, especially the way Newcastle are playing. Even though Newcastle are playing away and their away form is a little bit leeway than their home one, I still think because Burn has Wolves away, you can arguably say that's going to be a clean sheet. Cash Luton at home, you can see a clean sheet there. Pedro Porro could be a potential attack and return and a clean sheet. And Gabriel, certainly playing Gabriel, Sheffield United at home, so I see another clean sheet there. So yeah, I think Neto can be first team bench, I think.
Did Roman say Neto or Burns technically, which one you drop? And I think Burn. I think I play Burn in case because people are going to play Trippier. And if Trippier gets a clean sheet, you know what's going to happen to the ranks. That's why I'm thinking Burn currently ahead of Neto. And I never normally do this. I always play the attacker. But in this case, I'm scared of Trippier, so I think I'm going to play Dan Burn, and hopefully he can cover any clean sheets Trippier gets. So that's the thinking behind that. So as of now, guys, I think I'm going to bench Neto. But let me know what you would do in my position. Would you bench Neto or would you play Dan Burn against Wolves, knowing that I don't have Trippier? Or you could maybe take someone else out like Cash or Porro, but I'm not sure I want to do that. So as you guys know, I have 2 free transfers, which is nice going into Game Week 10 with a lot of managers looking to wildcard. Now, just looking at my team, boss team, I think everyone has a nice fixture. Or, on paper, fairly good fixtures. I don't see anything stands out that I need to get rid of, but I've got to make a move. Obviously, transfers are very crucial, and you don't want to waste them. So, where would you be going? Where do you think I should be looking to move on and do something in regards to my team? Because I've got to use a transfer this week.
I mean, it's probably going to be a boring transfer because you're starting 11. There's necessarily no need to change anyone there. So it'd probably be one of the players on your bench to change just to use up a transfer, I think, this week. Because who are you really going to take out that starting 11? There's not really any options to go for. You lose your bench players.
I'm thinking about something a bit mad. Now, again, let me show you what I'm actually thinking. I may not do this, guys, but I'll bring it up. So let's go on the transfers page. And also, guys, before I do show you what I'm planning to do, there is about 30 of you in here. If you haven't already, guys, please hit that like button. It really helps support the channel. So like and subscribe if you can. It really helps grow the channel as well and helps with the YouTube algorithm. But essentially, I'm actually considering Son out. And that might come as a surprise to people because obviously Son has, I believe, Palace, isn't it?
Yeah,
in Game Week 10. He has Palace in Game Week 10 and then Chelsea, Wolves, Villa, Man City after that. And I'm looking at that fixture run after Game Week 10. Chelsea, Wolves, Villa, Man City, West Ham as well in 15, then Newcastle in 16. Spurs fixtures are they're going to swing a bit. And I know Spurs are playing really well. They've not lost a game and on whatnot. So what I'm thinking is Son out for someone like Saka or an Arsenal asset like a Odegaard or Martinelli, whoever you want to put in. But I'm thinking Saka right now. I know he wasn't great against Chelsea, even though he did pick up the assist, didn't he?
Yes.
But I'm thinking Saka in for Sheffield at home, which is a great fixture for Arsenal. I know Arsenal looked quite poor, but Sheffield at home for Arsenal could be a big score. And again, the fixtures after that are pretty nice as well for Saka, with Newcastle, okay, it's tough, Burnley, Brentford, Wolves, Luton. And and I could take some money out the team as well. And that leaves me with 0.8. So what do you make of that, though? Son out, Saka in.
I do have a question with that. Because obviously Spurs play tomorrow. If it ends up, let's say Son scores 2 goals, or maybe a hat-trick, does that influence your decision on making that transfer to Son Saka, or is that still set in stone?
Yeah, 100%. That will have to influence my decision. Then I'll have to consider it, I guess, about keeping Son maybe. But I don't know if I don't think I want to have 2 Spurs midfielders going forward long term. It was always short term for me, keeping both of them. And I do want an Arsenal player. As I said, fixtures for me are better than Spurs long term. So even if Son scored 1 goal, I would still be tempted because that would enable me to do, depending again how Diaby does. Because I don't really want to sell Diaby when he's got Luton and Forest. But I do want Mitoma as well.
Yes.
So
he's another player.
I just realised I could do Neto straight to Mitoma. Mitoma's had a price drop. He's now 6.5. That would give me exact money to bring in Mitoma. And I like that midfield. A bit of variation as well. Mitoma's got Fulham and Everton.
And you got an advantage over those who don't have Mitoma that are able to bring him in for that next game week, as well as Saka. Yeah,
Saka and Mitoma in for Son and Neto is what I'm thinking. I don't really want to take... who's Neto got, actually?
Neto's got Newcastle, I think.
Newcastle. See, I don't really want him for that fixture. Sheffield after that, Spurs, Fulham, Arsenal. So it's not great, but Neto is such a good player in terms of value for money. But Mitoma, on the other hand, if I just show you guys what Mitoma's fixtures are like, is a lot better. 4 green ones in a row: Fulham, Everton, Sheffield, Forest, and I think Mitoma is one I'm looking at bringing in, and that gives me 0.0, so exact money to do it as well. The only problem is the other player that I could be tempted with is in the future is Trippier, but I just don't see how I get him in, really, with the current situation, with the way my team's structured. Trippier is just not possible.
Unless you downgrade one of your midfielders spots.
Diaby, maybe.
Yeah, like a Diaby or or Matoma. One of the two.
I'd want Mitoma, but Diaby
So,
again, I'd want him as well. But if I had to sell, let's say Palmer, that's later down the line, maybe Palmer in 4.9, who starts for Chelsea. Would that allow me to do Burn to Trippier? Probably not. 0.9, I'm still
no.
short.
Yeah, you would still be short.
I'll have to do something like Cash. I'm still short with removing Cash. I could do Porro for Trippier. That means I've got to do Palmer in as well. I'm not. Maybe that's too much changing the team. Maybe not every team's going to be perfect. You're always not going to have the players exactly you want. So Trippier is one of those players that I can't have. But Mitoma and Thing would be nice. And Saka, I think, depending on how tomorrow night goes. So that's what I'm thinking right now. The players I'm looking at bringing in are Mitoma and Saka. But that's my team out of the way. Let's see what you're planning. If you can bring up your team. I'll take a few questions as well while you load up your team. Thanks, lads. Keep up the good work. My moves this week, probably Bruno and Højlund to Watkins and Bowen, says Ziegel. Yeah, looks like great moves, mate. Long term as well.
Perfect.
Trying to see what missed. We've got Neil. Thank you for the comment. 54 so far, including a -4. 3 Spurs players to go as well. On another note, how did Alisson get 2 bonus points with 1 save? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, because Alisson got, was it 8 points?
Yeah.
In that game? I was very surprised at that.
I mean, I didn't think Liverpool were great, so maybe they just decided to give it to Alisson.
Yeah, they probably couldn't think of another player to reward the 2 bonus points to in that game.
Tricky Trees, is it worth spending the extra 0.8 to go Bowen over Mitoma for 5 weeks? Who are you going over, Jordan, right now? Bowen or Mitoma?
Oh, wow. That's very tough because both have good fixtures, Bowen and Mitoma. It's hard to spread them apart. I would go slightly towards Jared Bowen, I think. I think Brighton slightly have had a dip in their form a little bit. Sort of a slight dip because they have lost considerably a lot in the last 2 games, heavily.
Yeah, my thoughts are, I think Bowen is the better pick in terms of more likely to score your goal, but because money is an important factor in FPL, I would go with Mitoma and save the money. But if money doesn't matter, I still probably would pick Bowen, I think.
Yeah, I think I would go worth spending the extra 0.8 to go Bowen. I think he was very involved as well tonight in the game. He could have had more than 1 goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would go with Bowen over Mitoma.
Mark says, go with 1 next week, Saka or Son. Son Palace. Saka is Forest, isn't it?
And Sheffield.
Sheffield
at home.
Got to be Saka, right?
He does have the better fixture, arguably. Saka, Sheffield United at home over Son, who has Crystal Palace away. Again, Crystal Palace lost 4-0 though to Newcastle. So yeah, I'll go Saka probably. I think over Son as much as that's a tough decision to make.
Yeah, I think you back the home fixture as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jordan, you've got 1 free transfer, isn't it?
Yes, I do. I have 1 free transfer on that crazy one I made in the deadline stream. All
right, talk us through what you're thinking, early thoughts heading into. It is a Friday deadline, by the way, guys. For those that don't know, it is a Friday deadline for Gameweek 10.
So yeah, well, we've got Ariel in goal. He has Everton at home. Doggy's got Crystal Palace away. Lucadine, Luton at home. Trippier, Wolves away. Midfield 4, Maddison, Son have Crystal Palace away. Bowen has Everton at home. Buemo has Chelsea away. Front 3, you got Alvarez and Haaland, who broke out Man United away, and Watkins, who has Luton at home. And in terms of transfer plans, again, it's very hard because Buemo did really well because he was 1 transfer I was considering if he wasn't to do well against Burnley, but he managed to do. The other transfer potentially I was thinking of, and this depends on how Son does, because I was also thinking of taking out Son after he plays against Crystal Palace, depending on how well he does, obviously, how well he plays in that game. But Son is to consideration transfer. If he does well, though, I may be tempted at rolling the transfer, risking not having any Arsenal assets when they have Sheffield United at home. But if I was to take Son out, I'd probably do the same as Huss and bring Saka in just to have an Arsenal asset going forward, because obviously Sheffield United at home, well, Sheffield in general is a fixture to target for teams, especially Arsenal.
Do you have any plans to bring someone like Mo Salah into your draft? Sorry, into your team, I should say, because obviously we spoke about Salah. I think you messaged me as well yesterday. Obviously, we were talking, and you did say your Salah is someone that you are considering. Is there any way you could bring him in, or what's the situation in that sense?
Yeah, with the Salah situation, I did actually message you because I did show you a plan to get Salah in, but it was for -4, and that was taking out obviously Son and downgrading Bowen to Neto.
Yeah.
Which would obviously allow to bring Salah in for Son. Obviously for -4, but I think I was reluctant at that because I said that to you after Salah scored the 2 goals and without any other players really playing for the team. But after a long period of time through this game week, how it's gone, I think I should be all right not having Salah. Now this could backfire obviously because I can either have Son or Salah in my team, so I'm pretty much hoping on Son can keep up the good form as well as much as Salah is doing at the moment. So I think that's just dependable on whether Son can keep the form and match Salah, or Salah keeps going and Son drops form. That's the only decision that will make me think in obviously bring Salah in if I see Son obviously has a drop in form and not getting the goals or assists like obviously Salah is getting at the moment.
Yeah, Son has scored 6 goals this season. No assists, however, for Son. And Salah has scored 7 goals, so 1 more than Son, but he also has 4 assists. Salah does have bonus points as well, which he tends to get when he scores. And obviously, we know Salah's on penalties, which is quite big as well. He's got a couple of those this season. But yeah, it's interesting to see what the plans are. So what at the moment you're thinking rolling?
Yeah, at the moment, depending on how Spurs or how Son does tomorrow, from this moment on, I'm currently thinking of rolling the transfer over.
Okay.
Obviously, I have to see after how Spurs do whether that decision stays the same or not.
Okay, interesting. Roman says, I got 2 free transfers. I got one in mind as I already got Trippier in. Thinking Simicast for Burn as Liverpool will have Luton and then Newcastle play Arsenal in Gameweek 11 as I don't need a Newcastle double up. Yeah, we've spoke about Simicast. He's now Liverpool's left back pretty much because Robertson looks like he's going to face an extended period out with the shoulder surgery that he's had. So yeah, Simicast could be a nice little differential, low owned. I think 4.4 million only as well, cheap. And he looks like he's going to get a run in the team now. So I do like that potentially as a differential. Son to Saka or change your keeper, says Obafemi. Yeah, Son to Saka is definitely one that could happen for sure. Braden, who should be bought in first next week, Saka or Bowen or Matoma? What do you reckon?
I think Saka is probably the first to bring in next week, just because he has arguably the better fixture, and Sheffield United is the fixture like we mentioned to target because they do concede a lot of goals, and you can possibly see Saka scoring in that game and seeing a lot of goals from Arsenal. And yeah, I would make Saka my first player to bring in out of Bowen and Matoma.
Interesting. Was thinking the same about Son. He likes teams that play that high line. I need to get Salah in. So looking at Son, Bruno, and Gabriel out, says Tendai. Other transfer I got in mind is Madison to Martinelli. So money is freed up for Neto to Mitoma. Mitoma looked great second half for City. Yeah, he did look good. I did watch a bit of that. And Hussein Adventures also says, as it stands, Spurs are fixture proof and Son is more or less the main guy. I wouldn't sell Son now, not at least game week 10. I'm not sure I agree with the fixture proof comment. I mean, to be fair, Spurs have played some tough games. You know, Man United, they beat them 2-0, even though Man United haven't been great at all this season. They did draw to Arsenal 2-2, and they did beat Liverpool, which obviously we know the circumstances of that game as well. So I'm not sure they're fixture proof. I think looking at Spurs' fixture, or just on the screen, I'll pull it up. They do have some tough games potentially coming up as well, because Fulham's could be okay. Palace, Chelsea, I don't think will be an easy game for Spurs. Wolves, Villa are a good team. Man City, West Ham, Newcastle. So it does get a bit more trickier. And when would you want to get rid of potentially the double up on Spurs, Jordan? We're looking at these fixtures on the screen.
I probably want to get rid of it. I think when you have Chelsea in Game Week 11, because I think in my eyes that's when the fixtures do swing a lot. Because we've seen how Chelsea played against Arsenal. If they can keep that up and play that the way they did in that game, then that becomes a hard fixture. So I'd probably want them for Game Week 9 and 10. They consider taking them out for obviously the other fixtures that they have lined up, because they look all difficult. 4 in a row there: Chelsea, Wolves, Aston Villa, Man City, all teams that looked good in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair shout. And even after that, it's West Ham, Newcastle, which is tough. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people do with the double up, because a lot of us have Son and Maddison. Do you need both? Is the question. I'm not so sure. What's the price rise situation looking like? Guessing Salah and maybe Watkins again, says Roman.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you probably have to check on that one.
Yeah, I looked on my phone. Watkins looking like a close to a price rise actually after that game. So a lot of people, I think, have brought Ollie Watkins in really early. So he potentially might rise tonight or definitely tomorrow, I think, for Watkins. But I'm not sure about Salah, whether he's rising or not anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's pretty much what the thoughts are heading into Game Week 10. Let's quickly build a little wildcard draft as well. What would the wildcard be if you were on a wildcard right now at Game Week 10? There are a lot of managers that have held out Game Week 10. What we're thinking, if we quickly build, if you want to build one quickly on your screen.
Yeah, sure. Let's go to the transfer page. And right.
All right, Game Week 10 wildcard. Who's the must-haves on a wildcard or Game Week 10?
I think Salah is definitely.
All right, let's put Salah in somehow.
Take Son out. So that's for now. Put Salah in. Definitely Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland, you need him. I think Alvarez is an interesting one because he's doing well. But can you afford to have the team you want with Alvarez, Salah, etc.? Let's put Palmer in as an enabler for Andreas, just for a cheap player to have in there. Also, another one, Simicast potentially as a cheap enabler. Yeah, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, he got a nice clean sheet. He got taken off 61 minutes, so just about got a clean sheet.
That could be a concern, yeah. You did get taken off a bit early. 4.5. He's already had a price rise. Okay, interesting. I don't think you need Leno because it takes up a lot of money. The goalie. Maybe just get Strakoshka or another 3.9.
Get Strakoshka in 3.9.
I think Trippier, you kind of want him. Your dog is fine. Taylor, Luca Dean, or Matty Cash, whoever you want. What's the money like though with this team?
So far it's 0.1.
Ooh.
So it's not too bad.
Maybe Mbuemo out for Mitoma.
Yeah, because he has a tough
to get the money.
Yeah. And I think Bowen you'd want. Madison you'll still want. Definitely want.
Yeah. Something like that. What's the money now? 0.0, right?
Yeah, 0.0.
Yes, maybe something like that. I don't know.
I mean, it's going to be quite similar to obviously when our team's wildcard. It's just with slight
variations.
Yeah.
So Luca Dean, Taylor, Simicast, Trippier, Udogi, midfield, back five. Midfield, Mitoma, Palmer, Maddison, Salah, Bowen, and then up front you got Watkins, Alvarez, Haaland. You could also downgrade Alvarez to a 4.5 and then upgrade elsewhere in midfield if you want to take Palmer out for another better midfielder, I guess.
Yeah, interesting. This is without an Arsenal asset as well.
I mean, Saka is someone that could you do Saka in for Palmer if you downgrade Alvarez to a 4.5?
Let's see. I'll downgrade him to Archer 5 and take Palmer out and see if we can afford Saka. Fingers crossed. Oh,
No,
1 million. Yeah, over.
Yeah, so you can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's where Trippier becomes a bit of a tough one as well, because Trippier obviously is very expensive, but he's going to be popular as well in teams. But yeah, I think the other one we showed with Palmer in as the enabler. Good comment here. Priority captain next game week. All right, I'll switch it back to my team. I've got the captaincy on Haaland right now, but that's just of the bus thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Salah, I think. I may go Salah. Early thoughts. Salah against Forest at home at Anfield, where Haaland goes to Old Trafford. Now, again, Man United haven't been good this season. That's fair to say. What's your thoughts on this captaincy debate, Jordan? If you had Salah,
Right.
do you think you could be tempted with Salah, especially getting 2 big hauls in 2 game weeks in a row now?
Despite Salah doing 2 double hauls in the last 2 game weeks, it still doesn't persuade me when Haaland has a Man United that is currently dysfunctional at the moment, especially with injuries. Let's not forget, Man United have suffered a lot of injuries from a lot of Man United players, especially Luke Shaw in defence is a massive miss, because we're currently running with literally on fumes with Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans and a Reguilon, which we've never had this against Man City before. So it is going to be very different. I don't think it's going to be one of those matches where it's going to be tight, close.
You think maybe one big score?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a massive score for Man City, despite being the derby.
Even though Man City themselves haven't been that free-flowing at their best.
No, that's very true.
You still think City, you're confident of City putting like a few past Man United?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I watched Man City play against Brighton, and comparatively, when watching Man United play against Sheffield United, complete comparison difference. Man United look like they're playing a friendly match, whilst Man City look like they're playing to win the title. Man United are not playing at all to even reach top 4, let alone have a chance at winning the title.
Oh, yeah. But it's an interesting debate, because when you look at it on paper, Salah at home, Haaland away at United, even though United, we know with their struggles, but it's going to be interesting to see the split in terms of, who goes Salah, who goes Haaland. Even Watkins, Roman says, I'm honestly thinking Watkins, who's got Luton at home, by the way. It's a good fixture. Watkins come off today with a goal and an assist.
Yeah, really, really good fixture for Watkins, especially after having a really challenging one against West Ham, which was pretty end-to-end. It could have gone either way at some points in that game, but Aston Villa just had that upper edge and more clinical side to them. And I think Watkins at Luton at home, even better fixture for them, especially after coming off that massive win against West Ham, which as well has put them in the top, in 5th position in the table now. So that's a massive boost for them.
Yeah, let us know, guys, in the chat. Who are you thinking of captaining this game week? Game week 10, I should say. Are you thinking of Salah against Forest if you've got him? Are you going to go stick with Haaland, who's got Man United away? Watkins maybe as a wild card shout against Luton at home. Let us know your thoughts. In the chat. Let us know who you're planning on captaining. I think Salah, for me, looks like an attractive proposition against Forest at home. But we'll see, because Haaland is, Haaland, and he can, obliterate Man United, as you saw last season with the hat trick.
Yeah, and that's when Man United looked much better last season. Nowhere near the season they had this last. They are playing the way that they are at the moment, and they won't get lucky against Man City.
Interesting. So a lot to come, obviously, heading into game week 10. Very interesting, especially with the 2 free transfers I've got. What I do with them, I'm still not sure. But we're back again. just an early shout. I don't think we're going to stream Tuesday. I think we might do it Monday instead. I haven't told you, Jordan, yet. I'll probably
Okay.
explain to you off stream. I think we may do the transfer tips video tomorrow, possibly, and then skip Tuesday as a stream, and then back Thursday we'll do the team selection video, and then Friday we'll do the deadline stream. So it's a busy week in terms of streaming. If you guys don't want to miss anything out, as always, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed, and also hit that like button. I think we've just gone over an hour now, so we're probably gonna wrap the stream up here, unless there's anything else you think we've missed or you want to discuss.
That's pretty much covered. I think everything so far this game week. Obviously, we can't really talk about Spurs because they play tomorrow Monday Night Football. So all the best to those of our Spurs assets.
Yeah. Okay, then that's it from us, I think, for tonight. As you guys know, we're probably going to stream tomorrow. We're going to be back for transfer tips video. That should be a good one, 7 p.m. UK time. So make sure you tune in. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has joined the stream and that has watched this video or the stream so far. If you're watching on a playback as well, hit that like button, guys. Make sure it helps us out, as I've said. We always appreciate your support, and we wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So yeah, that's it from me. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up, Jordan?
Yeah, thank you guys for watching as always. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, of what's left of it, and until obviously tomorrow, take care and see you in the transfer tips video.